Thanks for joining us today. My name's Natalie, and I'm the Marketing Manager for MNA Digital. Welcome to today's session where we'll be looking at how you can get more sales from your website. The presentation should take about 15 minutes and we're then going to do a live website review. We'll also take some questions at the end and be offering a free website health check for those of you who'd like one. Right, before I introduce our speaker, I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about us. MNA Digital are basically a marketing agency in Wolverhampton. We're brought to you by MNA Mihnea, who you may know better as the publisher of the Express and Star and Shropshire Star. Our team specialise in web design, paid search, SEO and social media marketing. And today we'll be focusing on websites, but if you'd like any information about our other services, then just let us know. So let's introduce today's speaker. So today we've got Mihnea Gamalescu. He is Head of Client Services at MNA Digital. He specialises in digital marketing strategy and performance management. And over the years, he's worked with businesses both large and small, including the likes of Eon and Panasonic. With a decade of professional experience, he's well placed to advise on growing your business online. So I'll hand you over to Mihnea now and he can get started. You there?
Hi, yes. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our fourth webinar of the series. As Natalie said, my name is Mihnea and I'll be discussing 5 ways to get more sales from your website. At the end of the presentation, I will do a few live website reviews. We have a couple of volunteers already, but if anyone else wants a free review, please get in touch afterwards and we can record one for you. Until then, let's dive right in and look at step 1. The first step to getting more sales through your website is to ensure you keep the user experience simple. A good acronym to remember is KISS, Keep It Stupid Simple, which is a popular design principle stating that unnecessary complexity should be avoided. For websites, the idea is that while everything may seem clear and straightforward to you, this is likely because you have much more information than the average user. You're likely involved in the design of the website and content production, and you have a good grasp of the products or services you're offering. At least I hope you do. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, a typical user needs a simple explanation, an intuitive website structure, and clear guidance on the next steps that he or she needs to do. As such, please put your new visitor hat on and review your own website. In addition, you can request feedback from friends and family, and there are even online services where you pay people on the internet to review your website. For example, there's a website review service named The User is Drunk, which revolves around the idea that your website should be so simple, a drunk person could use it. Now, I don't condone excessive alcohol consumption for the purpose of reviewing a website or at all, but the principle itself is solid. So how do you keep it simple? Look at the general layout of your pages and streamline it. Is what your business does clear? Are you dealing with a case of too much information? Ensure there's a clear user journey. What are users expected to do once they land on any given page? Providing too many choices can be overwhelming and may result in users simply giving up and looking elsewhere. So with that, let's look at step 2. Reviewing your page content. Okay, so we touched on this a little bit in the previous step, but let's look at content in a bit more detail. Does it clearly specify what you're offering to the user? What does your business do? Which products or services do you offer? The navigation of the website should not be overlooked here. This generally refers to the top-level menu, the one in the header of your website. It's very important in ensuring people get to the service or product type they need. So please make sure it's structured in a logical fashion. Have you considered your target audience? The tone of voice and general style of writing should be different for, say, teenagers compared to business owners that are 40 years old and above. Make sure to use your audience's language and generally try to avoid industry jargon that you may use internally within your company. Something else to think about. Does the wording on your website drive action? Is it prompting people to get in touch? Does it reflect the traffic source? For example, if you have created a landing page to use specifically for your Facebook advertising, make sure the wording on the page is similar to that used in the advert. Also make sure to use the same image or images so that users will know they've reached the right place. If the landing page is visually different and the content does not follow naturally, this can cause confusion and abandonment. So let's look at step 3. We've looked at keeping things simple and ensuring the content on your website is up to scratch. But how do we turn those visitors into customers? Of course, what we're assuming here is that you already have incoming traffic to the website. You can watch our recordings from our other webinars, which discuss search engine optimization and PPC, also known as paid search, as sources of traffic and how to make the most of them. In addition, we'll probably look to run a session on social media soon. So that will help you make sure you're getting traffic to the website. But assuming you do, how do you turn those visitors into customers? Remember how I mentioned that users have to be guided through your website? Well, having clear calls to action that stand out through visual elements such as buttons and contrasting colors helps focus the attention of your visitors. Whether you're getting people to subscribe to a newsletter, send an inquiry, or buy online, you must make the relevant call to action stand out. It has to be clearly visible, and the first one should generally be above the fold. That is, the visible part of the page on your screen when the site first loads. You can then feature this call to action again lower down the page, such as towards the bottom. And if you have a page that is particularly long, consider having another call to action in the center. There's a flip side to that. You should avoid having too many calls to action on a page, especially if they're different. While it's good to give users options such as call now and inquire online, some websites go overboard by showing too many competing calls to action, requesting different actions from the user. This is overwhelming and counterproductive, and it's referred to as overchoice or choice overload. In essence, it means that too many choices can make decisions more difficult, and this can lead to customers being indecisive and even refraining from making a choice at all. When we make this process easier, we get more leads or sales. However, the time to conversion or time to sale can be as high as 90 days for some industries or even longer. For example, I might inquire about 10 new UPVC windows for my house today, but by the time I've made a decision on which styles to go with and which company, 8 weeks might have passed. To stay at the top of a potential customer's mind and have a better chance of being their top choice, we need to nurture leads through online retargeting and, where possible, constant communication. Let's look at the next step. Building trust online. So there's another important factor that can make or break a potential customer's decision to do business with you, and that's your online reputation. This needs to be actively managed. You should request reviews from your existing clients on platforms such as Google My Business, Facebook, or Trustpilot. In addition, you must make sure that all the information available online about your business is correct. Are the right opening hours shown on Google, on Facebook, and any online directories you're listed on? Are the contact details up to date? Once you've built up your online reputation, make sure to feature social proof on your website. This can be in the form of customer testimonials, badges from sites such as Trustpilot, or industry-relevant sites such as Check a Trade, which again have certain badges to show your customer service score. For retail, you should also include product reviews. All these elements, if done right, can increase your website's conversion rate. And we'll talk about more ways to increase conversion rates, which means get more business from your website traffic, in the next session, or even section. So what is conversion rate optimization? This is a process which refers to ongoing testing and improving of your website pages to achieve incremental increases in the online conversion rate. So getting more people to perform the actions that you want them to perform on your website. CRO, as it's also known, or CRO, is achieved through A/B or multivariate testing, which means changing an element on the site with one or multiple other options to see which results in better performance. For example, simply changing the color of a call to action button can lead to increases or decreases in the conversion rate. Or similarly, changing the text from inquire online to get a quote on one of your buttons can affect the percentage of people out of a total that take that action. Time periods and other factors that can affect results need to be taken into account too. A typical test might involve showing 50% of your website visitors one version of a button and the other 50% another version. This would need to alternate for each new visitor. So visitor A sees an orange button and visitor B, which comes to the website 2 seconds later, sees a green button, and so on. Changes should be tested one at a time. Otherwise, we won't really know which factor resulted in changes to performance. Now, unfortunately, if you have very small levels of traffic on your website, this might not be an option for you. CRO requires large amounts of data to ensure that any results are statistically significant, or in simple terms, reliable and replicable. If this is the situation you're in, just make sure to follow the advice we've provided in the other steps based on industry best practice, as this will give you the best chance. However, depending on the exact level of traffic your website has in a given period, another option could be to simply extend the amount of time that you run a test for and aggregate data over that larger period of time. And that will still give you usable results. I'll pass it back to Natalie now, so we can look at the next stages.
Yeah, so here's a quick recap for anybody who needs one, and we'll also be sharing the recording afterwards if you'd like that. We're now just I'm gonna stop my screen share so that Mihnea can do his. So there you go. Okay,
just a second. So we'll look at a couple of live website reviews now. We've had a couple of volunteers. We only have time for 2 today, but as I mentioned earlier, if you've already asked us for a review, we'll prepare that and send you a recording. And if you want to ask for it after this session, then please get in touch with us and we'll sort that out for you. So let me share my screen. Okay, can everyone see?
Yep.
Yep, excellent. So thank you very much for volunteering your website. I know it's quite a difficult thing to do, and I will try and provide very honest feedback. So please just know I'm only trying to help. So the website here is nfats.com. It comes up with a pop-up automatically that asks me to submit my email address to get free access. It's quite hard because I don't actually know what this website is offering me yet, but perhaps if I've come in through a Facebook post that explains that in more detail, maybe I could do that. It's not ideal though. First, I just want to know what do you do. So I'll close that and I'll try and get an understanding. These sliders or text coming up in stages as it does here, it's not ideal because people have very short attention spans and they don't really have a lot of patience. So it's best to make sure you explain everything quickly and don't let people wait to see what's coming up on the screen. So I can see find answers to questions that help your business grow, market research powered by trusted data. Okay, now I did have a quick look at this previously, so I understand it's basically a software as a service platform offering market research that's tailored to your business. That's great. Now, what would be ideal? The best advice I can give you is to have a short video right here at the top, maybe 30 seconds explaining exactly what this business does and what you're planning to offer people. I can see it's in the early stages, so right now you're just trying to get people to join the waiting list and then you'll notify them when it's live. Please think about preparing a video. It doesn't need to be done with a production company. You can record it yourself and it's honest. Couple of things also before I dive into some of the other pages quickly. It's great to see that you've got an SSL certificate, so the connection is secure. That means if I submit my data here, no one can see my email address. Hackers shouldn't be able to pick that information up. I've also had a look using Google's mobile friendly test. So if you just search for Google mobile friendly test, you'll find this tool. And of course, I can check on my mobile or through other means, but this makes sure that Google sees it as such. So that's good news. And then I've had a look at speed. Now, site speed, it's not a confirmed SEO factor, but most experts in the industry believe it has some impact on your Google rankings. But most importantly, it's very important for user experience. So as you can see, it's a very, very low score here for mobile and desktop. Now, this is based, I believe, on a 3G connection for mobile and a standard connection for desktop. But either way, it's very, very slow. If you drill down, you can see the exact issues that are causing this. A lot of the time, images take up a lot of space, so they take time to load. That's a significant issue. And we won't get into the detail of that now, but especially with WordPress, which I believe your website is on, that tends to be an issue. So that should be looked at, because if people wait too long, they'll jump off. A couple of other things I wanted to look at quickly. We've got this chat functionality here. Actually, the text black on kind of green bluish is not very clear. I would change that text to white on both the start chat button and the title. And I don't really understand why you have a sign in here, because really it's a contact form. So it should be name, email, message, and yes, phone number optional. The message should probably be compulsory, because otherwise you're just getting people's names and email addresses. But yes, the sign in I don't think is necessary, so it might just add confusion. Quickly, before we move on to the next website, one thing I wanted to pick up on was this market size calculator, which is a really good tool, but actually you wouldn't know it from first coming to this page. First of all, it tells me that there's a market size calculator here, but then you're sending people to the blog. I don't think that's necessary. I'd move that to the bottom of this page or remove it completely, because if I'm here, chances are I already know that market size is important. So try and move all of this up. This is useful, yes, okay, some cheat sheets for the tool, but move this all the way up so I can start seeing this tool here. The other thing is, I spent about 5 minutes figuring out where the tool is. This looks like a screenshot to me because of the gray overlay. I've only afterwards realized that you can click into it and then start making changes. And this is actually a live tool that works things out for you. And that's great, but maybe tell people that. So as you move this up, you can see the tool in above the fold, maybe have some text similar to this, a little subtitle that says, click on the tool below to start using it. And that should improve engagement on the page. Okay, hopefully that helps. We'll move on to the next website. I will stop my screen share and move to the other window. 1 second. Okay, can everyone see my screen now, Natalie? Yes?
Yeah.
Good, excellent, okay. So again, as with the other one, thank you so much for submitting the website. It's really great to see this. Big fan of online retail and e-commerce, so actually this was quite a nice one to review. So I wasn't familiar with the brand. Obviously, luxury items, very expensive jewelry, with physical locations around the world, available in Harrods in the UK, Frost of London, etc. So that's great. It's reassuring in terms of the quality of the products, even if you're not familiar with the brand. Now, the first thing that jumps up at me is I'm seeing all these US dollar prices, but I'm in the UK. I really think you should show local currency. It might even be worth considering a completely localized website for the UK if there's sufficient demand online. Even in terms of fulfillment, you can arrange faster delivery, etc. And actually this can help with better SEO optimization too. So for instance, in the UK, jewelry is spelled Jeweellery and doesn't have that same spelling as in the US. I'm looking for the social proof here, and I can see, okay, reviews pop up. A couple of things here. There's only 3 reviews there, which is not ideal. I try and push more and more people to submit one online. But actually this text at the top, these are real reviews from real shoppers. Saying that actually feels quite fake. Emphasizing trustworthiness actually has the opposite effect most of the time. So you don't need to try too hard. I was prepared to believe that they are real reviews, they should be. So I'd consider changing that text. Now, the most important thing, this being e-commerce, I think we should look at the actual consumer journey, right? So let's say I want to buy this product. It's okay, there's just a little speed issue that we'll look at afterwards as well. Okay, so first thing, I can't actually see the add to basket button. This should be above the fold here, clearly visible, ideally in a contrasting color, so it prompts me to take an action. I can see as I scroll down, it's down here. So I'd move this whole section up, but let's move on and look at the checkout experience as well. So if I add this to cart, okay, then it takes me straight to the shopping basket. Most websites, for a reason, allow people to continue shopping or go to the basket. That's because you might want to add other products on. Actually, it might be a nice option to show me a pop-up with, trying to cross-sell items as well. We've got these other products in the same range. Would you like to add any to your basket? And then give me the option to continue shopping or go to the basket. But okay, we're here now. Same issue as with the product page. I can't see the option to actually start the checkout process. Again, it's all the way at the bottom. Shipping to CA, I'm guessing that's California. Again, I'm in the UK. That's a big assumption to make. So I'd move the actual proceed to checkout button up here and have the rest below. And let's look at that journey for a second. Okay. First impressions, a little disjointed. I have a few fields on the left. I have one in the center. Then I have this on the right-hand side where I put in my credit card number and then place the order. It's usually nice to have one clear flow from top to bottom. So I'm scrolling down and I'm filling everything in, and then I proceed to checkout. Some websites break this down into multiple stages. Because there's some evidence that once you've started doing something, you're committed to that process and you'll keep going. So actually seeing, okay, I'm putting in my details in, putting my address in, I'm putting my billing information in is nice, but that you need to A/B test that and see what works for you. So again, a little disjointed, I have this in a clear flow. I'm just going to have a quick look at ASOS here because I think it's useful as an example for you. Okay, so straight off the bat, they're personalizing the experience. They know I'm new to the website, so they're giving me a 10% off code. Let's quickly go and try and add something to the basket. Okay, I shouldn't be picky. I'm actually going to buy something, so let's just in.
They're very you.
Not at all, but okay. So, see what I mentioned earlier? I can see the add to bag button right here. It's green, it's different to the other colors, it sends out. I'll pick a size and I'll add it to the bag. So I've got the option to go to the bag, check out, or I'm still on here, so actually I can go anywhere else. What I forgot to mention is, see how here they're telling me there is something in the basket. It says 1. Actually, on this website, there's nothing to tell me I've got something in the basket. So I definitely recommend taking a look at that as well. It just prompts people. It's a little reminder. So, okay, let's go to see the bag first. Again, clear. Checkout is here. I can choose my delivery options. Right, and I've got some USPs here, free standard delivery, free and easy returns, etc. When I want to check out, I don't actually like this. I think it's a block. It's an impediment to my checking out. So because I don't have a login, so I need to go to new to ASOS. I don't want to sign in with Facebook. So okay, I need to go continue to check out as a guest. That should be a pretty default option, I think, to have that clear at the top. But anyway, once I'm on here, it's nice and easy. So it's all step by step. Put in your email address, put in your delivery, put in your payment and place the order. And I've got a summary here of what the order will be. So as you can see, a much cleaner experience, and I definitely recommend reviewing that for Alessa Jewelry. As with the other site, I've looked at the speed. Again, very, very slow, especially for e-commerce. You know, when it's this slow, you might expect at least 30% of people to drop off. So you might be paying, you know, £10,000 a month for paid search, for example. Actually, 30% of all that traffic might never make it to your website because people click on your ad, but they can't be bothered to wait for it to load. So definitely have a look at trying to improve the speed and checking the mobile friendliness. Also a mobile friendly website, so that's excellent. Okay, I'll stop my my screen share now and hand back over to Nat.
Okay. So thank you. That was really useful. Hopefully everyone can apply some of that to their own websites. But like we said, we are offering free reviews for all of you. We can do a similar recording that's personalised to your website. So just you can request that by going to this part on our website, and we will get that sorted for you. We've also done a number of webinars over the past week or so. So if you'd like to view any of those, if you've missed them, they're all on our website. And then just thank you really for watching and for those of you who volunteered their sites.